stay away from choosing someone just because they went to audit. But I still see on LinkedIn or anywhere else job posts that say.
But let's talk about money. Is it true that with accounting, it's either you go big or you go home?
Yeah, it would range around 19 to 30. I think I got the shock of my life as well after I qualified. I'm like, hey, bo.
Hi guys, welcome to the village. Today we have a CASA, Usniki Wengobo. Okay, she is having a chat with us, taking us through her journey, and we are going to look at what options do we have as abantu abakulesi space is accounting, because we know this space is broad. Okay, another thing, she works for an international management consulting firm, okay, where they focus on risk, finance, and strategy. Let's welcome Sinikiwe. Hi Sinikiwe, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you, Bonnie?
I'm good. Please say hi to the village.
Oh, hello to the village. Happy to be here.
This one, guys, she's a villager, this one, you know.
Yeah.
That's how we met. Most of my guests, I meet them, through TikTok. But this one, she's a villager. We met through YouTube.
I'm always so excited when people are speaking about careers, because I feel like it's so important to spread the message to the young people who are interested in different careers, because sometimes you just sit because you don't know. So I feel like I always enjoy your channel because spreading knowledge, which is something that's so important for people who are interested.
Stiggy, well, tell us, have you always wanted to become a CA?
Ish, how long is always? No, it wasn't really
at school, in high school.
No, it wasn't a thing. I chose accounting because, I was doing well in commerce. So I chose accounting as one of my subjects. And my parents also thought accounting would be good. But I didn't even know what a CA was. I remember first day of our accounting class in grade 8, our teacher was going around. Why did you choose accounting? Because I want to be a CA. Because I want to be a chartered accountant. Because everyone, I'm like, what is a CA? And I'm still like, okay, I don't know. Chose it because my parents wanted me to, and I just continued with life. And only in matric, there was actually a lady who had the Thuthuka Bursary Fund, who came to our school to speak to matriculants and tell us about the chartered accountancy career, the possibilities. Then I was like, okay, maybe this is what I should do, because I'm doing quite well in the subject as well, because I was doing physical science as well. But I thought, no, let me maybe focus my energies on this. So that's how I decided. It wasn't I've always wanted to be. No, it kind of came about because of the opportunity.
Okay. Did you have a bursary with Thuthuka?
Yes. So in matric, I went through the recruitment process with Thuthuka, wrote the entrance exams, went for the interviews. Then I was awarded the bursary towards the end of my matric year. Then I started with my chartered accountancy journey. Then in first year at the University of Johannesburg.
Okay. But I'm sure you know this, and other people who are in this space, that for you to do accounting, actually they look at your math more than the accounting, but it helps. Do you think it helped? How were your peers coping, the ones who didn't do accounting in high school?
Okay, so it was a bit of a challenge, luckily, because Thuthuka does offer additional tutoring. So they had like tutoring classes on Saturdays and other days just to catch up. So it was a bit of a challenge. But my husband is also a chartered accountant, and he also didn't do accounting in high school. He was a science major in high school. So it's very possible to go in having never done debits and credits in your life and then go through, because requirements are mathematics, where they want you to get at least 60%, and the same as well for English as well.
Okay. So now you did your Bcom. I won't waste time in asking, were you a high achiever? I think you were. Were you? How was varsity? Before we get to honors, how was varsity, like undergrad?
Okay, undergrad was nice. I was like, "How, guys? Why do people complain about this thing, especially in first year? You're like, I can do this. Okay, we're managing." But I still wasn't like top achiever vibes in terms of, okay, now I'm attending the top achievers events, but I was doing well enough. Because I remember getting 100% for statistics. I'm like, okay, I've arrived. So it
Okay.
wasn't too bad undergrad, especially the first 2 years. And then third year it just hits you like, yo, this is serious. This is really a bit of a challenge. So for me, I felt like the first 2 years, not so bad, but third year was really a bit of a challenge. And then honors, yeah, another one,
Okay.
another very big yeah.
Anyway, tell us now your journey from honors level. What happened? Like you've passed your honors now, okay? And then what happened? Did you have a job lined up? Did like just can you just tell us what happened after honors level?
Okay, so after honors, what happens is I was funded by the Thuthuka Bursary Fund, right? So the Thuthuka Bursary Fund is basically a pool of lots of, not all, industry participants. So all the big four companies, big four accounting firms, even like public sector companies like AG, SARS, companies J in that, and they donate towards Thuthuka, this bursary fund. And then Thuthuka administers it so that they get an accountant at the end of honors. So usually they'll allocate people to wherever they need to go, based obviously on how much maybe that company has contributed. Are they entitled to one trainee or to 5 trainees or to one or none for that year? And basically I also applied, and usually what happens is a lot of people apply to the other industry players, but a lot of those companies don't take up as many trainees because they don't really have bigger training offices as much as you'll find in the big four audit firms or the small to medium sized audit firms. So I applied, and I was luckily, by the grace of God, accepted by one of the banks in South Africa that was also funding Thuthuka. So I was one of the Thuthuka
Hmm.
bursary students that ended up working. So I went to train with this bank for 3 years, which was very nice. So it's a lot. So that's how then I transitioned from my honors into then banking, which is now TOPP, as they call it, which is now trading outside of public practice. Because if you are now in the audit field, then it's called TIPP, which is like training in public practice. So I'm not in public practice where I'm signing off audits. Would say, okay, we've audited you. This is our on your financial statements, but I'm more signing off, if I can call it that, financials, or working behind the scenes to actually prepare those financials rather than to be kind of auditing them. So that's basically the main difference between the two. So in this one, the main thing is that you get absorbed into different roles where it's not really job shadowing, but you work in a role that requires different items where you're exposed maybe to tax, you're exposed to internal audit. It's not external audit this side because you're not in public practice. So those are the main differences. So it essentially feels like you already have a job, but you rotate to different teams because each teams you need to meet different needs, because SAICA gives everyone a list of all the training all the trainees get a training contract where you need to meet different, they'll say for accounting, I need to, there's 4 majors when you are studying towards being a CA at your honors level.
Right.
So all 4 majors, you need to touch on them during your 3 years training. So SAICA has specific competencies. Maybe they'll say you need to be able to post a journal. You need to be able to calculate income taxation. So during your 3 years, then you rotate to a team that does income tax. You rotate to a team that does journals so that you have exposure to all the competencies. Because I think one of the challenging things about TOPP is that you can easily go in and your manager just wants you to do the day to day, and you find at the end of that rotation you need to move out of that team with competencies that you've ticked off. You can't say, oh, I updated this spreadsheet if that spreadsheet wasn't a journal or wasn't relevant to the SAICA contract. So you always need to look at competencies and make sure that you tick them off. But usually the companies have quite good training officers who do guide you in terms of how to achieve all of those competencies.
So guys, please don't forget to like and share this video and leave any questions that you might have for Usnigiwe. Snigiwe, so the TIPP route is where in summary or in simple terms, it's when I'm working in the Big Four, the auditing firms. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's auditing firms, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the Big Four. It could still be a medium-sized firm.
Oh, okay. From my observation and my own thinking, I'm thinking, okay, if I go the TIPP route, I'll get more exposure because I'm going to be working in different industries. Because if it's an auditing firm, guys, an auditing firm, like in simple terms, it's a consultancy. So you work in different industries. While Usnigiwe, for instance, here, she works in banking. So am I correct to think like that?
Yes, you're correct to think like that. Even though within the firms, you could find that you are allocated to the financial services division or the mining, because the firms themselves have divisions in terms of here, this is who we audit. So you could still be auditing just financial services companies.
Okay.
But you do exposure because you might be auditing bank A, and then in your next cycle you're auditing insurance company B, even though it's still financial services. So you get exposure to how different companies will do their financials.
Did you choose which routes you wanted, or you were like, wherever they accept me, I'm going?
I was quite that I don't want to be in audits because I never had the partner dream, because usually in audits, if you do like develop and you progress in your career, you end up being an audit partner, and like that's almost like CFO, CEO in the other industry companies. So I felt like I don't really have that dream, and obviously being exposed to the audit the audit subject or module at school, I knew that I was competent in it, I could do it, but I really did prefer financial management and accounting and the likes. So I was more drawn to that. And at the time when I completed my matric, it was, revealing my age now, but it was during the global financial crisis in 2008. So my time at varsity was like we're mainly being told about how banks were responsible for the financial meltdown, the financial crisis, and I was like, how? And obviously the lecturers would explain. Then I just felt like, okay, banks seem to be such a key player in the financial system or in industry in general. So I want exposure there. I want to go there and really see how banks manage the treasury and maintain financial stability. So that was more what I was drawn towards. Also having that, I don't think I want to go the audit route.
How about money? How about money? I know they say which one pays more?
That was also a contributing factor because it pays more when you're on the top side than the tip side. Just because already here, it's almost as if they treat you as an employee. Who would say, okay, you're here to work, and they kind of have that benchmark. Whereas with audits, they know you're a trainee and they've got levels. You're a trainee first year, second year, third year. So I think for me, that was also a driver. I don't want to start at the bottom of the barrel. Let me just already go here where the money is better. But I also wouldn't necessarily encourage people to base it solely on money, because the exposure on the tip side, I feel like it's good and it opens up your avenues. I know as hiring companies or as hiring individuals, we try to stay away from choosing someone just because they went to audit. But I still see on LinkedIn or anywhere else job posts that say our preferable candidate is someone who did the training articles in the Big Four accounting firms, so audit firms. So it's still a thing. So if you want to maybe increase your chance of employment, it makes sense that you go the audit route or if you're not sure what you would like exposure to. Because for me, because of the global financial crisis, I knew I want to be somewhere, something to do with financial stability, and that's in banking. So it was easy. But if you don't have that, something that's drawing you in honors level already, then rather stick to the audit route, and then you'll find out once you're there what other industries you want to explore.
Okay. No. I get it. I get it. Guys, please like, share the video, and also leave any questions that you might have for Usnigi. I know we just started. You might not have a lot of questions at the moment. Okay. Guys, Usnigi went through, like the typical, like the ones that most of us are familiar with. Just Bcom, you do your honors, you do your board, you do your training, do your board. Happy days, and I see you passed both your exams, your board exams, first attempt.
Yes, I did.
You were born for this, Shem. this is your thing.
Yo, honors tested me because I did repeat my honors, but
okay.
after perseverance, it was easier then going forward. But yeah, I did pass my board exams first attempt, both of them.
Okay, fantastic. Sneaky, accounting is so broad, and the more I create videos, maybe having people like you, or maybe publishing pay slips, people getting shocked. There's some people are earning 20,000 while they have a degree in accounting. There's so I know this is why I'm chatting to you. Like, we're having this conversation because I thought it's obvious. Like, there are things that you just think these things are obvious. People know what's going on. So there are other routes that are available for people who are, I don't know if I should say accountants. Yeah, let's just use the term accountants. People who have Bcom, Bcom accounting, or maybe even their honors, but maybe they're not in a position maybe to, like, they just want to work. Let's just put it that way. Maybe they want to work. Can you explain to us the other routes, like your CIMA? Is it CIMA? CIMA. There is ACA, which is ACCA, and then there's SAIPA.
So basically, SAICA is one of the accounting bodies in South Africa, and it's internationally recognized because I do also have friends who are working abroad with the SAICA designation. So you can also be by other industry bodies like ACCA, which is now more of an international or a global chartered accountancy body. They've also got their own board exams that they want you to sit. And if you don't want to go the audit route as well, and you focus and you do your honors maybe in financial management, you can then focus on something like CIMA, which is more of a strategic designation for, it's like you are it's the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. So it's basically mainly about accounting in your finance. So there's different bodies. There's SAIPA, which is an industry for professional accountants. It's just that SAICA is highly regarded, and it's just one of those internationally known. It's almost similar to how you have Rama, and then you have other margarines, but usually it's Rama. So it's almost as if every chartered accountant has to be by SAICA to be the one. So SAICA has that status, but there are other industry bodies. And even within SAICA, they have also now introduced AGA SA, which is basically a general accountant. So that's for people who may not have honors, but maybe they've still got the accounting degree and they've also maybe done their articles. Because I think SAICA is quite aware of how sometimes people just have a challenge with their honors, but they're still doing quite well and they get all the experience that they get with their training contracts. So there is also that avenue that people can explore so that you still have an accreditation, so that your hard work in your training doesn't just go down the drain. So there are different avenues that people can explore being a chartered accountant essay by SAICA. And From a SAICA perspective, you can also continue and register as a tax practitioner, which means now you can assist companies and individuals with filing their tax returns on an annual basis or whatever period they do their tax reporting or tax submissions. So there's that avenue as well. So it's not purely just auditing or just accounting. You can specialize different. And other people can even go on to right now other international designations like your CFA level 1, level 2, where you're a chartered financial analyst, and you can use that qualification going forward. So there are a lot. It's like the world is your oyster. I always feel like SAICA, it's already highly regarded and good on its own, but it opens you up to so many things because you have 4 majors. So you can literally go and major in any one of those and explore basically all your and explore available to you with regards to that you've chosen. So I feel like there's quite a lot of things that people can do.
You know, I saw someone on TikTok leaving this comment, Ugutim, you know what? People who have done Bcom accounting, they can just transition to data analytics. And I agree with that. They can have a look at data analytics as an option.
I do think you can transition because, for example, I'm in consulting now. I'm no longer working for a bank, but I consult for banks. Through a consulting I work for a consulting firm that consults for different banks, and I've seen that sometimes you'll get pulled into projects where you're like, oh my gosh, I never studied for this. And even me, because when I was still in banks, I was in the treasury department, like looking at capital management, financial stability, things that we never studied, like Basel regulation, those things. It's like, oh my gosh, this was never a standard. Why was it not included? Because it's very specific to banking. But because of basically the way of studying and your thinking capacity that they assume you have as a chartered accountant, because you've managed to all these hurdles, they trust you that, okay, even though this is new to you, you have the necessary skills to apply yourself and actually also come up with the answer or work in this environment. So I do think that's something very important that people must know, that you don't have to do the 4 majors, because I feel like what I do now is completely different. I never studied any of this in honors or during my training contracts, but here I am being a CA in consulting in something like strategy, where you're like, oh my gosh, where do I start? But because you trust it because of your thinking capacity, then you've earned your right to be in that space and learn and grow and gain experience while you're there.
It's like engineers. Quite a few of them, you find that they are in they are in consulting, you know. So but they are not just because they are engineers. Bayacatshangela okay, unayo i-capacity yoku-handlisha this type of problems.
Yeah.
Sneaky, where you've done quite a lot, very fast. You know, izinto zakho, I can see ukuthi they were moving quite fast. Now, you've started off at the bank with your articles and your first job was with another bank, but now you are in consulting. What is that? Can you just brief us? What is consulting in the context of accounting?
Okay. So consulting is now when you get, because guys, you know, we've got these senior leaders in organizations, but they also sometimes need assistance. So consultants, that's what they assist senior leaders in organizations. Mainly, you'll find that maybe there's a new IFRS standard that comes out, like IFRS 17, IFRS 9, and you've got people or accountants in the business, but maybe they don't have the capacity time-wise to assist with that transition, or they don't really know the in-depth don't have the in-depth understanding of those new standards. Then they'll maybe appoint a consulting firm to say, can you come in? Can you assist us with implementing this new requirement, whether it's restructuring our department or it's having new systems that will help us get the management information that we need. Basically, it can be in that sense, or it can even be assistance in terms of, okay, we need someone to assist with this. Someone has gone on maternity leave for 4 months and we just need an extra pair of hands. Do you have an accountant or someone that you can second to us for this time period? So that's basically another way consulting firms can assist. But basically, consultants go in to assist management with whatever issues. It's usually transitions that they can have. For example, if a company is restructuring, consultants might actually assist with that. Or a company is considering restructuring, but they're not sure. Then they want a second opinion. Then they're calling in a consulting firm to come and assess the situation to see if do they arrive at the same conclusion that they should restructure, or are there alternatives that they can suggest. Or if they want like competitor benchmarking, what are our competitors doing in this market? Because we're pushing, but we don't see the margins, the profits. And what are some strategies that maybe you've seen elsewhere? What can we apply? Because you'll find you have experience. I can be a senior banking executive with 15 years in that bank, but I don't know what the other bank that is excelling is doing. But consultants usually have that wealth of knowledge because they have different clients
No,
and assist.
I get you. But I just want to ask, where you work at your firm, are you only accounting consultancies or you do different things? Okay. Oh, okay. How is it?
Yeah, so it's quite broad. So specifically the one where I work, we look at finance, we look at risk and strategy, and we also look at ESG because that's also something that's quite topical. But you will find maybe there's a consulting firm that's just focused on ESG or sustainability. So you do then
What is
end up getting
ESG? What is ESG?
ESG, it's social and governmental. It's basically your sustainability, all about
Okay.
preserving the planet, all of those
Yes.
topics. So you'll find that companies will, because now there's new regulations that are coming out that companies need to adhere to with regards to all of those restrictions that are being placed, like carbon taxes or reporting on your climate impact on your operations. So consultants then can come in and assist the companies with those kind of decisions in terms of how do we implement this into the organization and embed it.
You know what? I'm learning about this for the first time, guys. Well, not the sustainability part, but the part about even CAs. You can go into consulting. It doesn't mean that now you are stuck, Lapayana. When the only thing you do, you work in audits and stuff, you know. So this is interesting, guys. And I'm sure there are other people who are learning about it for the first time. And it's so nice to see, especially young, I'll still say young, young Black women in these positions. Guys, Sneaky also has a YouTube channel. I'm going to leave it in the description box. She does post day in the life of a chartered accountant, and she's going to be bringing back some content around personal finance, because it's no use making all this money. I'm assuming she's making all the money, but then you are not taking care of it. So you must check out her channel. I'm going to leave it in the description box. Yes, I'll leave it in the description box. But let's talk about money. Is it true that with accounting, it's either you go big or you go home? When I say go big, CA roots, like become a CA or go home. Guys, it's not about Uti, we are saying, but okay, what are your thoughts about the money?
I think it is true in the sense that obviously it's very difficult for me to have an interview with someone and just assume that they know. But once I've seen that, okay, they've gone through the SAICA route, I know that these are the minimum requirements that SAICA has, therefore I can trust them. It gives you that credibility. So because of that, it's like that credibility is there. Therefore, you are already compensated at a specific level because of that credibility. Whereas if you don't have that credibility, you're not chartered anywhere, then you have to kind of prove yourself with experience or whatever else. And sometimes they just won't place you there pay wise. So I do feel like chartered accountancy just helps you to at least have a starting point. And then after that base, your experience, your communication skills, your everything will have to now speak for you as well.
I get the point about when you've gone all the way, of course, they put you at a certain, like for instance, can you share with us during training the range, the salary range when you were a trainee? How was it?
When I was a trainee, it was, what was it? Let's say it ranged from 19, ish, annual amounts, or okay, it ranged to like netting around 19 to netting like around 30, like from first year to third year. That was more or less the range. Yeah.
I didn't get that. It was ranging after your deductions, like around 19.
Yeah, it would range around 19 to 30. But one thing that's very, like from first year to third year, but one thing that's very important to remember is that when you're a trainee, they structure it depends though. So sometimes you just on a contract only deducting your tax. So you still need to get your medical aid. So it's not after medical aid or any of those other benefits. Or you don't, even pension, you would still need to get your own like retirement annuity fund because you fall under the pension scheme for that organization. So it can depend. So it was more or less that was just after tax pay. Then once you qualify.
But for you, because you were already in the bank, did you have not qualifications? Did you have benefits? Because you were already
no,
you didn't. Okay.
So even working for the bank, we didn't, because I know usually for banks you get bank medical aid, but no, I had to source my own medical aid externally, and also I had to have my own RA because we don't get into the pension. But I know my husband didn't work in a bank for the same organization as me. He worked elsewhere, and it was also a company. But there he had medical benefits and pension benefits even as a trainee. So it can depend on the different companies. So that's one of the things that people need to look out for when they're looking at their training contracts. Do it or not? I guess we still had the benefit of reduced interest rates. So you had staff rates. Buying your car, at least you're not paying the market rate in terms of your interest. So that was a good thing. Or if you're purchasing a property, so that is a little bit of a benefit. So that's more or less how the pay was.
But we understand it's training. You are a trainee. You are not so it starts after CASA. That's where it starts, and then life is good.
Yeah. Then life is better. Not good. It's better. I think one of the biggest misconceptions, and I recently did a video that I still need to post on the misconceptions or the bad things about chartered accountants. I did a video on my channel. And one of the biggest ones is that misconception chartered accountants are moneyed. I think I got the shock of my life as well after I qualified. I'm like, hey, bo, because now I have this after deductions payslip and this did one before, and it's like you're almost netting the same. But they're like, no, and then you have to say in your mind, okay, the other one, I don't have to pay for medical anymore. I don't have to pay for an RA anymore. It's already taken out. But you like, but it's the same. So that's how I felt going like from my third year into my first year working. But someone else it could be different. Already in a bank, so perhaps I was already earning high for a third year trainee, whereas maybe someone coming from somewhere else, that may have been a jump for them because they were coming from a lower pay. So I don't think you automatically are moneyed. It's just a misconception because we know CAs can be CEOs, CFOs, earning millions a year. We assume as soon as you qualified, you'll be there, and that's not the case.
It comes with experience because right now you are no longer where you were when you first started. So now you're in consulting. So obviously, it gets better, guys. It does get better. Was it worth it? Was CASA worth it for you personally?
I think it was, especially considering the unemployment in South Africa, considering like how I've seen other youth and how their lives can fare when they don't have the qualification or even just the degree. So I really can say it was worth it. But over and above, I think one thing that's really important is for someone to always apply themselves, because you can always distinguish yourself. I've worked with people who are not CA and they've been more senior than me in the work environment because of their work and their experience and them applying themselves. So you don't always have to be a CASA just to be successful, but it just helps you to actually at least get a seat at the table. Then you can prove yourself going forward. But I think people can still prove themselves even without the designation.
Okay, no, I get you. I get you. And also, I don't know now, but in my time, because I'm older than you, maybe by a decade, I think in my time you'll find that a lot of people who became CAs, like when Thabo Mbeki was a president, basically that time, they also got opportunities to sit on boards, while they have their own job and they can sit on set, so it does open iminyango eminingi. Sneaky, I nearly forgot to ask you, which school did you go to? I know you did well in math. I'm not going to ask you about your math, but which school did you go to?
Oh, I went to Pinetown Girls High School in KZN. Yeah, Pinetown Girls. Yeah, that's where I went.
Hi, Pinetown girls. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Please say bye to the village.
Thank you, Village, for having me. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay guys, we've come to the end of this video. I hope you found a value. Please like and share it and leave any comments or questions for Usnikiwe. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.